Okay. All right. I have 6 o'clock. I'd like to call the October 20th, 2020 board meeting to order. This meeting of the Sugar Grove Village Board will be held as outlined in Public Act 101-0640, which waives the Open Meetings Act requirement that a physical quorum of elected officials be present to hold a public meeting in the event of a public health disaster declaration and a determination by the village president. Governor Pritzker did issue a statewide disaster declaration October 16th, 2020. In a response, President P. Shawn Michaels determined that an in-person meeting is not practical at this time. With that said, Rick, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Rick. Roll call, please, Allison.
Trustee Cook?
Here.
Trustee Montalto?
Here.
Trustee Herron?
Here.
Trustee Lundy?
Here.
Trustee Walter?
Here.
Trustee Conan?
Here.
President Michaels?
Here. Thank you, Allison. We have a quorum for tonight. We have no public hearings, no appointments or presentations. And as of now, no public comment. There's no public at the Village Hall or online to make public comments. I will, for the record, open up public comment. Hearing none and seeing none, I'll close that portion of it. May I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, which consists of approval of the minutes of October 6th, approval of the vouchers, approval of the treasurer's report, approval of the 2021 village meeting calendar, ordinance repealing Title 3, Chapter 11 of raffles, a resolution authorizing the intergovernmental agreement regarding raffles, ordinance amending the village president and board compensation, resolution authorizing an IGA for emergency community notification, and a resolution authorizing emergency community notification. If I could whoever makes the first, could you make it subject to removing item G, the amending village president and board compensation?
Yeah, I'll make the motion removing item G for compensation.
I'll second that. Second by Trustee Cook. Any other requests to remove an item? Hearing none, roll call, please, Allison.
Trustee Montalto?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Conan?
Aye.
Trustee Lundy?
Aye.
Trustee Walter?
Aye.
Trustee Herron?
Okay. Motion approves the consent agenda. May I get a motion to approve the ordinance amending the village president and board compensation?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Cook. Thank you for removing that. One of the thoughts I had on the village president board compensation in light of our remote meetings is that maybe we declare for lack of a better term, a bonus to a newly elected official when they get elected for, pick the dollar amount, let's say $500, so that an electric tablet could be purchased so that people could have the ability to go online and maybe receive board documents online as opposed to in paper. It's just a thought, and I thought I'd bring it up for discussion.
I guess my only question is, do you think most people don't have that ability right now?
That's a good point, and I think most people do. I didn't know if there is, like Wabansie Community College, they issue a tablet to their board members so they can get all the packages online. And, it's just having the ability. The tablets seem to be easy. I don't know if then, staff could do a uniform type of presentation or things. The unfortunate thing is this is 2 years into the future, so we don't know what the future holds. Thinking about the boardroom, it would be nice if we could get presentations from somebody making a public hearing onto a tablet so we could view it and maybe even broadcast it on TVs in the boardroom in case somebody is sitting here to give a presentation. So again, it's a good thing we have to pass this in advance or in preparation of 2 years, but we don't know what 2 years is going to hold out there.
Well, my general thought on it is that, and coming from a background where, we've had government purchases of uniforms or clothing allowances or things of that nature versus giving people money to do it. There's no guarantee that they're going to use the money for the specific thing you want them to. And the other thing is control over the items. I would think it would be a better idea if that does become a concern, instead of giving people money to go buy something that they want, that the village provide it, be responsible for maintaining it and making sure that there's nothing on it that shouldn't be on it. And when that person stops being a trustee or whatever, they turn it back into the village.
Okay.
I agree.
That's how the school does, like with their Chromebooks for the middle
Right.
school.
Yeah.
I know that.
It
I
is.
agree with Rick on that.
Is that how it's done with service revolvers, Rick, or not?
Way back in the Stone Age, when I first started in police work, you had to buy your own weapon and handcuffs. But about halfway through my career, the village, and they had stipulations. You had to buy specific kinds, specific calibers of that nature. But it turned out to be much better that the village provided them about halfway through my career, and they supplied the ammunition so people could exchange information if they were in a firefight, or not information, bullets in a firefight. If they were in one, it was the same kind of equipment. People were all using the same stuff. My stuff handled the same way your stuff would have handled. And there was that way they're responsible for maintaining the safety, checking them. You can take it back from them if there's something wrong with it. I think just having the village maintain that, having their IT guy take care of it, is the way to go in a situation like this.
Okay. No, and that's fine. I just, again, wanted to bring it up for discussion. Okay. All right. Any other discussion as far as this goes? Okay. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Allison.
Trustee Montalto?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Heron?
Aye.
Trustee Conan?
Aye.
Trustee Lundy?
Aye.
Trustee Walter?
Aye.
Okay. That motion carries. May I get a motion to approve a resolution authorizing an ITIP grant application for sidewalks?
I'll make that motion.
First by Trustee Cook.
I'll second it.
Second. Thank you. Trustee Aaron. Discussion. Is this Tony?
Yes, we applied for a safe routes to school grant a couple years ago. That goes back to 2018. At that time, we did not get that grant, but currently the ITEP grants are available. When we were at one of the meetings with IDOT, they thought that this would be a good project for an ITEP grant, and suggested that we apply for the ITEP grant when it became available. And that's what this is. The map shows the couple streets in the area of the school that don't have any sidewalks. So this would be a good project for this.
Is right-of-way acquisition part of the grant?
Based on what we reviewed at the time we put this Safe Routes to School grant together, we did not need any right-of-way.
Okay. I know those are narrow roads, and Grove in particular, you basically have a ditch section that people need to either walk in or park on.
Well, the right-of-way is a lot bigger than, I mean, isn't huge, but there's a lot more right-of-way than you realize how far it actually goes. It's a 66-foot, if I remember correctly, 66-foot right-of-way in that area. And with the narrow road, you still have 66 feet, so there's more green space than a typical wider road that only has a 66-foot right-of-way.
Okay. And Clockins in that one area is basically down to one road, or one lane, isn't it? In that section from McCannon to Grove?
Yes, it's a narrow street.
Okay. And does the grant have engineering built into it, or is it just for the concrete work?
I believe we finished phase 1. And Michelle, help me remember, does the grant include the phase 3 engineering?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Steve. Okay. All right. Any other discussion on the grant application? Okay. Roll call, please, Allison.
Trustee Cook,
Aye.
Trustee Heron,
Aye.
Trustee Walter,
Aye.
Trustee Montalto,
Aye.
Trustee Conan,
Aye.
Trustee Lundy.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Discussion on curfew regulations. Chief?
Thank you. So if this is a village ordinance that's been enacted since 2006, the state law allows the village to have a more stringent interpretation of curfew, and allows us to go more than what the actual state law already applies. And we've kind of seen it come into a couple of roadblocks or some gray areas where if you are of age of 17 and you're traveling through Sugar Grove or on a sidewalk outside someone's house after hours, you're technically in violation of Sugar Grove's curfew ordinance, but it's permitted under the state statute. If you just looked at it in that sense without it being a higher restriction, if you had a child that was 17 and went into a neighboring jurisdiction, those neighboring jurisdictions more aligned to what the state statute says, and one under the age of 17 would be in violation of curfew. So really we're talking about a very specific age that we're looking to adjust, and that's under 18, which is the 17-year-olds and under, and state law is under the age of 17, which is 16 and over. So really it's just 17-year-olds. If you're 17 traveling through Sugar Grove or out and about through Sugar Grove, and your parents think it's okay in their community to be out and about and there's no curfew violation, you come to Sugar Grove, you technically can be cited for a curfew violation and have to be picked up by your parent. So we're just trying to, in today's day and age of kids traveling in cars as passengers and or drivers, that they don't get cited for being 17 in Sugar Grove for a curfew violation when it's legitimate in the neighboring communities. However, like I said, it's still legit in Sugar Grove. We're not in violation. You can go above but I think it just consistency for parents and for us in law enforcement, it would be better suited for us to address it and bring it back down to under the age of 17. We're also including some definitions. The state law, I think, was changed in 2013 and added some other categories. And I think we provided a red line document of the changes that we're looking to enact. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Chief?
I think it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Consistency. Okay. Any issues with what's being proposed? Okay. Put that on the consent agenda for next meeting. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
GFOA Distinguished Budget Award, Matt.
Yeah. So for the past 14 years, we have done the GFOA Budget Award. It is a more expansive document. It's a policy document from expanding on the budget. This is something that is done. You have 90 days after the end of your fiscal year to complete. I do this annually. Recently, GFOA has, they hosted a webinar that discussed the new requirements that they were putting in place for budgets going forward after passing of January 1st of 2021. So it would be in effect for our next budget. The amount of work that kind of goes into it currently, I would say anywhere between 70 to 80 hours of my time. After that, it does take, a 2-month period, but over the time, it's probably 70 to 80 full hours. The additional work that is being required now with the new standards for GFOA are outlined in the board report, essentially as annual strategic planning. This was more than just a one-time meeting. They're looking for community involvement, town halls, board meetings that allow residents to come in and do a strategic planning session the entire time. So each of these will add board time and also staff time to complete. Another item is long-range plans. Currently, we look at about a 5-year plan when we look at the capital improvement plan, but this is looking 10 plus years for a long-range plan. The capital improvement plan we do update, and that will be something that continually gets updated and we will present to the board. But this will require that entire process and plan to be incorporated into the budget policy document. Performance measures and benchmarks is another one. This kind of links back into the long range plan as well as the capital improvement plan and strategic plan. They want your goals and measures and benchmarks all to tie back together. So all of our action plans and strategic plans all should tie back together. And then the one that is, it is a new requirement, but it's something that is currently being done is the ADA requirements for online and website requirements, having the ability for PDFs to be read, doing links in the PDFs and et cetera. So looking at the additional requirements, and this is just additional on top of the current requirements to do the award, is about 30 to 35 additional hours of staff time, along with about 22 to 27 estimated hours of more board time. And that's doing meetings, and that's an annual basis. But this doesn't include the normal time that it takes me to put this document together. Just kind of looking at the document as a whole and applying for this award, it does not give us any additional ability to get grants, any type of funding. It's more just a individual municipality award. When I was doing the webinar, they would give you examples that you can follow for other places. However, they were also people like Dallas, Texas, and the Metro East Transit districts. They had examples of people that had 15 to 20 person employee staffed finance departments. I've asked around the area of my treasurers groups and other communities. A majority of them are not doing the award due solely to the amount of work and time that it requires to do the award. I know we have done it, and this is thing that I've looked at as far as requirements, but if whatever the decision was, is I would continue to do the award as if we are at the same level currently. I wouldn't stop doing that. It would still be a more policy document. It would continue to be updated and enhanced, but it wouldn't be applied for through GFOA with all these additional requirements. Mainly due to the size of the staff we have and the village we have, the amount of work that they're requiring is for larger communities, from what I can tell. So that's kind of the new requirements. The cost, we do pay $345 a year to apply for the award, and then it's just staff and board time that would be the additional costs. So can answer any questions regarding this. It's more discussion right now to see if we want to continue this. It would be in effect for the next budget year.
Matt, I guess I have a quick question. Have you contacted them to see if there is an option for smaller communities like ours? I know with like accreditation, through the police department and stuff, they have different levels depending on how big you are, how many services you have. More is required of you as you have more things that you do. Less is required if you don't have as much, like your own jail and things of that nature. Is there an option for maybe a smaller, community like us, or it's just one size fits all?
It is a one size fits all. They do not have different types of programs for different sizes of municipalities or even governments. Park districts and everybody else, they're all lumped in together. Okay. So all one program as the Distinguished Budget Award.
Ted was asking, what's driving this change? Do you know?
No, they have a committee that reviews these at the GFOA level. It is an organization that has full-time employees, so they do review these. And they've been making small changes over the years, but this was a full revamp where they have had full webinar sessions on the requirements because it's such large changes. So they didn't really give an explanation of why they are making the requirement changes or adding the requirements. It mainly was just they were changing them and making more requirements that it makes it a little tougher for smaller communities to get this award in comparison to larger communities.
As far as our CAFR goes, we have one page that shows that we get that award, but the CAFR would not change at all based on what you're saying.
No, the CAFR, we would still apply for the GFOA CAFR award through Lauterbach and Amon. It would be just the budget award. And I would continue to do what is currently being done and making changes as we see fit, but it just wouldn't be adding as many of the requirements that they made the change for and applying. But I would still expand on our budget ordinance and make it what we currently have.
Okay. Anybody see a need to proceed with the budget award, or just continue as we've been doing and continue with Matt's recommendation?
If there's no benefit to it, to the village, financial or otherwise, I tend to agree with Matt and let it go by the wayside.
I agree with Matt as well, and Rick. Yeah.
I agree as well. As a financial guy, plans and budgets, forecasts are good, but they're always made to be broken because we don't have a crystal ball. So putting together a lot of effort that ties back to all these different numbers and results and plans for 10 years, that it's just a lot of guess games and what if. So I understand. So it's probably not worth it. You do an excellent job of what you're doing now. And so I think we're all on the same page there.
Yeah, I look at that water study that Michelle presented to us a couple months ago, and you think it's taken nearly 10 years to accomplish a lot of those projects. And, it was through development and grants and things like that, which see going forward, I don't see the grants, you don't see the development, so it is going to be hard to plan for anything like that going in the future. Okay, thank you, Matt.
Okay, thank you.
Questions for staff reports? Tony, just minor items, or Brad, I know you're listening. Just if Curran or Dee could pick up some of their signage, it seems to be laying in the parkway or off the shoulders. A couple orange signs. I think just cleaning things up like that would be great if we could just remind the contractors to do so.
Okay.
And street lights, I think, is it this week that you're going out to do the street light surveys?
They did do an initial survey and I believe repaired 24 streetlights. And at this time of the year, it just seems like with the change in temperature, more streetlights go out. So we're going to do a additional streetlight survey so that we follow up on any other ones that didn't come to light during the last survey to make sure we've got everything working for Halloween.
Good fun there. Thank you for including that.
Tony, are we still doing, I'm not sure if Brad is on or not tonight, but are we still doing the tree trimming? I noticed we haven't started anything yet and it's getting late into October now.
Brad?
Yeah, we're going to start tree trimming the end of this week. We were fixing street lights and still tidying up some concrete work. So yeah, we intend to start Walnut Woods the end of this week, probably 2 weeks out there, and then early November be in Mallard Point.
Okay. How's our salt situation? 6 inches of snow in Iowa yesterday and 8 inches in Minnesota today.
We're completely full right now with our storage.
We're ready. Okay.
Yeah, just drive Public Works. They're busting at the seams with salt right now. So that's a good sign.
Yes.
And then Chief Rollins, the police department, do they have enough candy for next week, or could you use a little more?
We're still collecting, and thank you for those that have dropped off. I know we have from the trustees and also for you, Sean. Thank you for dropping off the candy. It'll go to good use for the residents or the trick-or-treaters in Sugar Grove. It won't be dedicated for the officers. It will make its way into the proper hands. So thank you, or proper mouths, I should say. So thank you.
Good. I hope it's always great to hear that the police department does that. So thank you. Any other questions for staff? I guess, Brent, just asking any changes that the village is going to have to institute with Governor Pritzker's announcement today?
Not at this time. We think, we believe we can keep the village operations as we've been doing for a couple of months now. I think the biggest thing is going to help communicate, the word out to the community. You like to think everybody knows is and aware, but typically there are at least a few people that, for whatever reason, don't hear about it. So I'm expecting Allison will send something out if she hasn't already. And yeah, but for now, we don't think we need to change anything.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Any other questions for staff? Hearing none, moving on to trustee reports. Rick?
Nothing major to report other than there's an online meeting Thursday morning for the Convention Bureau. And then our meeting Thursday night for the new business. But other than that, not a whole lot going on. Everyone be safe and enjoy your Halloween. And people are coming up with some unique ideas. I saw one on TV tonight where someone was using a 6-foot one of the plastic plumbing pipes, and they're going to drop their candy bars down the pipe out the door to kids. So whatever you can do to stay safe, but make sure the kids get their candy.
That's good. All right. I haven't seen a long-range forecast. Has anybody seen a long-range forecast for Halloween?
And it's supposed to be upper 40s and only a 20% chance of precipitation. So it should be a good day.
Good, good. Heidi, anything to report?
No, nothing. I will say I voted today at the library and it ran very smoothly. So it wasn't too bad of a wait and they're doing a great job there.
Okay. Thank you. Jen?
No, nothing new to report. Thank you.
Ted?
Nothing new, thank you.
Sean Heron?
Yeah, get out and vote. I think you can vote at any polling place. I don't think that you have to vote at your local. I'm too quiet? Okay. Nothing.
Strangely.
Were you going to say something, Sean?
That I can. My settings
Your microphone is down for some reason. So.
not working.
Hard.
Can you get someone behind you to do the sign language stuff for us?
All right. Moving on. Ryan, Walter, anything?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. President's report, just a reminder that recommended Halloween hours are 3 to 7 on October 31st. The next meeting that we'll be holding is on election night, so hopefully,
Special meeting Thursday night this week, assuming the Plan Commission does make a recommendation on the grooming special use.
Okay, and that's at 6 o'clock.
Yep, 6 o'clock this Thursday, and then Allison will be sending out a link for that one.
Okay, and then the other meeting after that is election night.
Yes, correct.
And I know there was some legislation about municipalities being closed and things like that, but the village is open on election day.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Then is there any other public to address the board? I don't know if we had, nobody came into the board meeting. I don't see any attendees online. Is that correct, Allison? So, okay. And there's no need to go to closed session?
Nope.
Okay. May I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second by Trustee Heron. Roll call, please, Allison.
Trustee Montalto?
Aye.
Trustee Heron?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Lundy?
Aye.
Trustee Conan?
Aye.
Trustee Walter?
Aye.
Okay. We'll see most of you on Thursday at 6 o'clock. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Good night.